Hi guys, everyone is able to hear me and able to see my screen. Is everyone able to hear my voice and see the screen? All right guys, thanks a lot. Okay, perfect. Some of you might join in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Some we are still waiting for some people. Okay, but let's start guys. Okay, let me just close this. And any doubts from the last week guys? Any doubts? Anything that you did not understand? No? Okay. Perfect, guys. Thanks a lot. Give me 1 minute. Let me just open the Eclipse and we'll start off, guys. All right. Hema, you are asked whether the string is mutable. Okay. I don't want to go into mutable and immutable discussion right now because that's a completely different concept. Okay. And unless I touch something called as objects, and then after objects, if I touch something called as constructors, I won't be discussing about mutable or immutable. We'll discuss about this after this class, okay? Because if I discuss this thing currently in the class, there are all chances of others getting confused, okay? That's the thing. Fine, guys. Thanks a lot. Now, in last class, what we have seen, we have just see some couple of things, okay? And we also saw we cannot compare two strings like this, okay? Two strings like this. And only way by which we can compare two strings is in the below way. Okay, what is that things? How will we compare two strings, guys? Okay, say here I'm comparing two booleans, that's fine. Here we are comparing again two booleans, that's also fine, guys. Okay, sorry, here we are compiling two strings, okay, name one and name two. Okay, and here you are compiling name one and name three. Okay, and here again you are comparing country 1 and country 2, correct? And we have seen in different cases, okay, this double equals doesn't give the correct result what we want, correct? But for example, if I run this particular program now, run as Java application. Okay, first it says names are same. That's because name 1 is having J and name 2 is also having J. It says names are equal. Right guys? But when we compared these things, okay, it says names are not same. That's because when you use this new keyword, it doesn't compares, it compares the memory address of these two objects, guys. Okay, we are basically here comparing. When you say double equals, okay, name 1 double equals name 3, we are trying to compare the memory location of name 1 and name 3. Okay, and we also discussed about string constant pool, correct? Why it compares memory locations and what is string constant pool, that's what we have studied, guys. Okay, so only way by which we can compare two strings is like this. Okay, if you want to really compare name 1 and name 3 right now, even though name 1 is Jai, name name 1 is Jai and name 3 is Jai, it is giving you strings are not equal. But if you say something like names dot equals, and here if you pass this name 3, now it will give you the correct result. Okay, but we will not be discussing this now, right now. See, now it is saying names are same. Okay, so so one thing you have to understand here is you should not be using, see, you can use, for comparing two strings, you can use equals method. Okay, we have not studied what are methods so far, so I'm not going to go inside it. But one thing you have to understand, you cannot use this double equals for comparing two strings. It will not give you correct result. Okay, that's it, guys. Okay, and how to compare two strings we will see later, but as of now understand, you can only use double equals for primitive data types, guys. Okay, only for primitive data type. Now one of the basic thing that we're gonna say is the methods in Java. Okay, the methods in Java. I will say I'll create a class called method example 1. Okay, I'll create a class called method example 1. And so far I have not told you guys what is this public here, what is this public static void. I have not told you. Okay, now I will try to say what is this void when I talk about methods in Java. Okay, now what are methods, guys? Okay, methods is simply, methods are block of code which helps us do a particular operation. Okay, now why we need to create the methods, what are methods we will see, but why we need to create the methods, that's one of the very important thing, guys. Say there is something. Okay, you have to say find you have to find you have to check whether a number is prime or not, if it is a prime number or not. Okay, you have to check that. Okay, and I, to be frank, I don't know how to check a number prime number or not. Okay, and say you write some method here. Okay, and to check the prime number, say you have to write some, I'll say some method here. Okay, I'll say method. Okay, and I will write some lines of code. Okay, this is how the method will look like. Okay, some 20 lines of code, guys. Okay, 20 lines of code you will write. Okay, to just check a number is prime or not. Okay, this is a method, and in the absence of this method, if you want to check whether your number is prime or not, what you have to do, say in your program you have to check 10 different numbers whether they are prime numbers or not. So you have to write how many codes, say each of these things having 20 lines of code, and you are checking 10 different numbers whether these numbers are prime or not. So basically you have to write 20 into 10, 10 numbers, and each number, to check whether whether the number is prime or not, you have to write around 200 lines of code. Okay, every time this much code you have to repeat it. Correct, every time you have to keep on repeating these 20 lines. Instead, okay, if you don't use this method, okay, if you don't use the method, you have to write these 20 lines of code, yeah, for checking every and each and every number whether it's prime or not. First you will check, then again you will write 20 more lines, then again you will write 20 more lines. This is not an efficient way of doing things, guys. So what is the efficient way is, you will write something called as a method, and you will write that 20 lines of code only once. You will write those 20 lines of code only once, and to this method you will pass whatever number that you want. Okay, say you want to check whether 30 is prime number or not, you will pass 30. Okay, you will call this method like this method, and you pass 30. Okay, if you want to check whether 200 is a prime number or not, you will call this method like this 200, you just pass 200. Okay, I'm not trying to teach you how to create methods, I'm just trying to tell you what is the benefit of method, guys. Okay, so don't worry about the syntax, just understand what I'm trying to say. Say if you want to check whether this number, okay, it's a prime or not, all you need to do is you just need to pass this particular number to this method, and you are not writing these 20 lines of code to check each of these numbers. Correct, so you are basically making reuse of code. You are reusing this particular code what is there, guys. Correct, you are reusing those 20 lines of code again and again, and that's the main advantage of methods, guys. Any doubt, Shravani, Hema, any doubt? And I have not taught you how to create the methods, guys. Okay, I will be teaching you guys. Methods are so important, but what is the use of the methods, that's important to know. Okay, just a minute, guys. Just a minute, guys. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Shravani, Hema, just give me 2 more minutes, okay? Because that seems like Jagdisha is trying to join and he's having some problem. Okay, just one. Give me 2 minutes. A method with argument and with return type. This is one kind of method, guys. Okay. Second type of method is method with argument without return type. Okay. Third third thing is method with argument without argument, sorry, without argument and without return type. And the last one is you have method with argument with return type, without argument without return type, with argument without return type. What is the last option, guys? Method without argument without return type, method with argument without return type. Yes, the last type is method without argument but with return type. With return type, these are the four kinds of methods, guys. Okay, and if you look like this, okay, it might be confusing. Don't be worried. Okay, I'll be teaching you guys each and every methods. Okay, each and every methods. Now first see method without argument and without return type, guys. Okay, without return type and without argument. So it will probably lie in which quadrant, guys? Without return type and without argument, it will lie here. Okay, this is the place wherein you will have method without argument and without return type. Okay, let's go ahead and quickly see it, guys. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, first of all, for that we have to create our own method. How do we create a method? Okay, you write this public static void and you copy and paste it here, void main. Instead of main, you give any name to this particular method. Okay, you give any name, but name should be logical. Okay, but your compiler will not give you any problem. Even if you say Hema, it will not gonna give you any error. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, say I want to greet my customers. Okay, by calling this method, means I want to type something on the console when I call this method. Okay, that's the only job of this particular method. Okay, how will I do it, guys? I will give some name. Okay, greet customer. Okay, this is my method. Okay, and you have to say starting braces and closing braces, opening braces and closing braces, and these opening braces and closing braces. Okay, it is same like main method, whatever you guys have seen. Instead of main, I give some other name, and here I'm keeping it blank. Okay, here I'm keeping it blank. Okay, see, here there is nothing. Now in this method, what I'm gonna do is I will say sysout, hi, how are you? Okay, this is what it does. And the second thing is, hi, what is your name? Okay, this is the second thing. And the third thing I'll be printing is, hi, where are you from? Okay, if I call this particular method, okay, this method does only one work. It will ask, it will type these three things to the console. Okay, imagine this method is something, a person. If you call that particular person, he will go ahead and ask these three questions to you. Okay, these three questions, and I have not told why I am saying it as without argument and without return type. Okay, I will first tell you the syntax. Okay, the syntax is whatever you write inside this, it's up to you. Okay, this particular place, whatever I have written, the highlighted part, it is up to you. But as of now, understand the method should have following things, guys. Okay, what are those things it should have? It should start with something like, just a minute, public. It should have static. It should have void, and any name you can give. Here you can give any name. You can say Shravani also. Okay, or else you can say Vishal also. And here it is empty. Okay, that I am not typing anything here. Okay, but later on I will also tell you this is not necessary. Even this is not necessary when we go to that particular topic. But as of now, understand a method should have public, static, void, and some method name, and these two braces. And whatever you want to type inside, whatever you want to do inside that method, it should be inside this brace and this brace. Okay, so only this particular thing I'm doing in this method. I'm typing these three things on the console. That is it, guys, nothing else. Now what I'm trying to do is how to call this method. Okay, I want to call this method. Okay, all I need to do is, as of now, understand, all I need to do is I have to start from the method name till here. I'll copy this and I'll paste it here, guys. That's it. Now if I run this particular program, what will gonna happen is it will gonna print this first line in main method. It will always program execution starts at first line in the main method. Okay, then it will try to call this particular method. Okay, it will try to call this particular method, and it will, your program control will go in here on line number 11. Line number 11 will be executed, line number 12, line number 13, and once these three are executed, your program will control will come back to your main method. So what I'm trying to say is, if I write one more method, one more line, say I'll say last line in the main method. Okay, if I have something like this, then what will gonna happen is, this particular output will be, we will be getting first line in the main method, hi how are you, hi what is your name, hi where are you from, and the last line in the main method. Okay, so as of now you have to understand is this, all this is compulsory. Public static void main, this name, whatever name that you want to give, you give any name. Okay, you give this method name as Vishal, and then you have to call this method like Vishal here. Okay, you can give any name. Now if I run, it will give you the same result. Okay, but method name should be a logical one, guys. Okay, you should not be having method name like this. The method name should be logical method. Okay, logical name. Okay, it should, just by looking at the method name, it should convey what that method does, guys, what that method actually does. Okay, that is very, very important. All right, guys, any doubt so far? Shravani, Hema, Jagdish? Yeah, no doubt. Okay, now this particular method, what it does is, you have to imagine this particular method as a person. You just need to call this particular person, and you need not tell him, he doesn't need anything from you. Okay, if this particular greet customer, think him as a person. Okay, a person who doesn't need anything. If you call that particular person, he will go ahead and write these three things on the console, but is he telling you whether he has written properly or not? No, he's not actually telling you, guys. Okay, these kinds of method wherein you are not passing any argument, okay, any argument to this particular method, these kinds of methods are called no argument method. If at all you are passing any argument, then you can say that you are passing some kind of argument to this method. Okay, when I tell you, show you a method with argument, that's when you'll understand this, guys. Okay, now it might be confusing to you. Okay, but understand this, when you say void, this method will not gonna return anything. Okay, what do I mean by that? I'll be able to tell you, guys. Okay, but understand this, if you want to call any method, you just need to write its name, and you just copy paste till here, copy and paste it and give a semicolon. That's it, guys. Okay, that's it. Now say I have started off with quadrant, this particular quadrant method in this particular quadrant. Okay, and I'm not telling you guys what exactly I mean mean by this, what is the return type and all. Okay, I will be telling you, you will be able to understand. But believe me guys, at this point of time, this particular method is the one which doesn't take any argument and doesn't return anything. Okay, you'll be able to understand, okay, in a while. Before that, I want to write one more method. Okay, and this method, now what it will do is, okay, the same method I will change. This method will take string as an argument. Okay, string name. It will take string name as an argument, and what we're gonna do is, it will ask, hi, how are you, the name whatever you have passed. Okay, hi, how are you, say, plus name. Okay, this is what it does guys. Okay, now Jay is asking whether the method will be in the method area or the heap area or the execution area. Okay, Jay, to be frank, I have no clue. Okay, I have no clue about this particular question. Okay, because when you say these areas, okay, whatever areas that you are talking about, okay, method area, heap area, or the execution area, I have seen when you are really writing the program, okay, when you're really writing some program, okay, you will not be using these terms at all. You might not even be aware that, you know, what exactly is happening. Okay, I will try to get the answer for this. Okay, I will try to get the answer for this, but at this point of time, I have no clue. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, do you know what is dead codes, Jay? Because this was one of the question asked in the morning class. Okay, and I had no clue. Okay, I had some clue, but I'm not 100% sure whatever I answered was correct. So I said I'll get back to them. Okay, here this one I'm not sure, your question as well, because my approach will be like this. Okay, whatever actually that you are doing in the industry, okay, that is what I'll be giving you guys. Okay, what is actually you're doing in the industry. Okay, now, but I'll try to get the answer for this. Okay, because I only know of, you know, heap area and the stack area. Okay, I'm not aware of any other area. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, if I do something like this, okay, what I'm trying to do here, whatever that you are passing, I'm just concatenating with this. Okay, now if I say I'm passing, say, Shravani here. Okay, what will gonna happen is, you're passing Shravani. Okay, this Shravani will be assigned to this variable called name. This name will have the value Shravani into it. Okay, Shravani, whatever you have passed, and it will say, hi, how are you, Shravani? Hi, what is your name? Okay, okay, name again Shravani. It doesn't make sense. Okay, second one. The third one is, hi, where are you from? Okay, from Shravani. Okay, so let's see guys, okay, whether it does it or not. See, it is actually doing it guys. Okay, what it is doing, first line in the main method, hi, how are you, Shravani? Hi, what is your name, Shravani? And the last line and this line. Okay, this kind of methods are called, wherein you are passing some value to it. Okay, here you're passing some value to this particular method, correct? These kinds of methods are called method with argument. Okay, with argument. because you are passing some argument to this method. Okay, and what is this void? I'll be telling you in a while, guys. Okay, but understand what do you mean by method with argument. Okay, if at all you are passing some value to a method, then that method is said to be having some arguments. Okay, and can I call this greet customer method 100 times? Okay, yes, you can call how many number of times you want. Okay, this time you are saying India. Okay, you can do that, guys. Okay, you can call it. Okay, say first line in the main method, then these 3 lines from the method, again last line in the main method, and then again this particular method got executed, but this time it is saying India. Previously it says Shravani, because previously when I called this method I passed Shravani. This time I am passing India, and you can call this method hundreds of times, guys. Okay, absolutely no problem. But this method needs an argument of type string for it to work. Okay, you cannot call this method without passing the argument. That's the important thing to know. You cannot call this method without passing the argument. It will give you the compilation error. See, it is giving you compilation error because that method doesn't exist at all. It is saying the method greet customer is not applicable type. There is no argument. Okay, so that is what it is saying. And you cannot pass an integer. Okay, 1 2 3, you cannot pass an integer also because it needs a string to work. So you how to pass the string itself. So see, if you take method greet customer, it's of type string, is not applicable for int, it says. Okay, and these kinds of methods are called method with arguments. Okay, you can have one more method. Okay, with argument, I can show you one more method. I will say the same thing, public static void main, a method which adds two numbers. Okay, I will say sum. Okay, method name is sum, and it takes int num1 comma int num2. Okay, and what this method will do is sysout, that system.out.println, num1 plus num2. Okay, and you can call this method here or anywhere you want to call. You can say sum, you can call this method like this, you can say 100 and 200, guys. Okay, and this method will be called, guys. See, it gives you 300 here. Got it? These kinds of methods which takes some arguments are called method with arguments. And if it is blank, if it is not taking any argument, then these are called methods without arguments, guys. All of you understood, or any doubt, guys? Any one of you? What are methods with arguments and what are methods without arguments? Everyone got it? And if previously this greet customer had nothing, okay, it was like this. I'll say greet customer 1. Okay, these kinds of methods are called without argument. Shravani, you're able to understand? Any doubt? Hema? No? Okay. Okay. So as of now, you guys only understood what is method with argument and without argument. Okay, now if I want to call this greet customer one method, I just need to call like this and I need not pass anything, correct? And if you pass something, it will give you the compilation error. Say Shri, I'm just passing this Shri, it will give you the compilation error because this method doesn't take any argument and you are trying to pass the argument into it. Okay, so whatever argument it needs, only those arguments you have to pass, guys. Okay, now you know what is a method with argument and without argument. Okay, so let me just put it into your things, guys. Okay, okay, that's it, guys. You know what is method with argument and without argument. Okay, now I will remove these methods. Okay, some of these methods I'll remove. And the execution, the most important thing that you need to know is the execution sequence. Okay, execution sequence. Okay, this is important. Let me just go through it quickly. Okay, first, what will gonna happen? First line in the main method will be executed, guys. Okay, first line in the main method will be executed, guys. Just a minute. That is, first this line will be executed. Okay, this line. Next, when it tries to execute line number 6, it will see that okay, it's a method. So it will go to the program control will go to this particular method, greet customer, okay, which takes one argument. Okay, greet customers. Your program control will come here, and whatever you have said, Shravani, will be assigned to this variable called name variable. Shravani will be assigned, guys. Okay, to the name variable. Okay, now you are saying system.out.println, you are concatenating hi how are you with Shravani. So it will be hi how are you Shravani, hi what is your name Shravani, and hi where are you from Shravani. Okay, so these are the three lines. That's the reason you see it, guys. Okay, once these three lines are executed, your program control will again come back to this line. Okay, and then it will execute line number 7. That is, it says last line in the main method. Once the last line in the main method is executed, it will try to execute greet customer India. Again, your program will control will come here. Okay, and this time name will be assigned with India, guys. INDIA. So it prints hi how are you India, hi what's your name India, and hi how are you India, what is your name India, and hi where are you from. Okay, India, because you are trying to call this greet customer and passing India again. After that, you again, once it is executed, again your program control will come here and it will execute some 100 and 200. Okay, that is the reason it is printing. Your program control will come here. Num1 will be assigned a value of 100. Num2 will be assigned a value of 200. It will say system.out.println 100 for 200. 100 plus 200, that equals to 300 will be printed. Okay, and I think I have not executed this particular program after writing this line. If I again if now I execute, see after 300 it is printing hi how are you, That's the thing. So whenever there is a call to the method, your program control will jump to that particular method. Okay, and whatever arguments you pass, that arguments will be assigned to this, guys. So here 200 will be assigned to number 1 and 100 will be assigned to, sorry, 200 will assign to number 2 and 100 will be assigned to number 1, guys. Okay, this is how program execution happens. Now say there is a requirement wherein, okay, these are the methods with arguments. Okay, whenever you're passing, okay, so there is a requirement. What is the requirement? Currently what this method does, if you pass something, it will calculate its sum and it will print on the console, correct? If you call this method and pass any two numbers, it is calculating sum and printing it, correct? You pass 500 or 600, it will print you 700 on the console. But my requirement is not that. My requirement is, I'm saying this person saying that, boss, I don't want you to print anything. I will give you two numbers. You give me back the sum of those two numbers. Okay, how will you calculate the sum of two numbers? You will say sum will be of integer, correct? You will have to declare a variable called sum, int sum, and you have to say sum is equal to num1 plus num2. Okay, sum is equal to num1 plus num2. That's what I'm doing, guys. And I can, if I want, I can print this sum. Okay, this I can definitely do. Okay, it will give you 700, but I don't, my requirement is not to print the sum. My requirement is whatever sum I have calculated here, I have to give it back to your main program. How will you do it? It is like you consider sum as a person to whom you are saying, boss, I'm gonna give you two numbers. Okay, please calculate sum of those two numbers, and whatever sum comes out, okay, please return it back to me. Whatever sum that you calculate, I'll give you two numbers. You calculate the sum of it, okay, and you give back that sum to me. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Give back the sum to me. How will you do that? That is when this particular part will come into picture. As of now, I said void. But if you want to return this, now this method should return an integer, correct? So in that case, you can say int, because this method should return the sum, and sum is of type what? Integer. And all you need to do is, once you calculate the sum, you have to say return sum. So what this method will do is, this method will basically take two numbers. Whoever is calling should pass two numbers. It will calculate the sum of those two numbers, and then I will be returning this sum to whoever is calling that person. Okay, and if this particular method is returning the sum, where will you save it? All you need to do is int result or some variable name, result is equal to sum, and now you can use that particular result. So you are calling this method, okay, calling this method, you are passing 100 and 600. Num1 will be assigned a value of 100, num2 will be assigned a value of 600, and you will be calculating the sum, and you are returning this sum back to this. Okay, so once this particular line gets executed, it is as good as like this. In the behind the scene, it will do like this. It will calculate how much sum comes. Whatever sum comes, that is 700, it will be put here, guys. So it's as if you're saying result is equal to 700 and then you're printing the result. Got it? In the same way, if you pass 1 and 600, result will be what? 601. It's as good as whatever sum comes out. Okay, when you say return, it will say 601, guys. 601. That is it, guys. Any doubts in this? Shravani, any doubts? Hema, any doubt? You can unmute me and ask the question. Okay, fine, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay, but feel free whenever you have any questions. I want you to feel free and ask me. All right. Okay. Now these kinds of methods which return something to the calling method are called method with return type. With return type. Understood, guys? Method with return type. And if the method doesn't return anything, then it should be marked as void. If method doesn't return anything, it will be marked as void, and that time you need not add this return statement, guys. That time you need not add this return statement because this method will not do anything. This method will not do anything. Okay, but if at all there is a method which should return something, you have to type like this, guys. There can be other methods as well. I will say I will pass, say, a method which, if I pass first name and last name, okay, a method, okay, if I pass first name and last name, it should give me the full name. The full name is string, correct? String. So you have to say string. Here it was integer because this method was returning me sum, but here I said string because this method will give me full name. So how will you calculate, create the full name? Say you are passing string first name and string last name. Okay, so you can say string full name is equal to first name plus last name. Okay, and I will say return full name. Now I can call this method like this, sum and I will pass two arguments, guys. Sorry, not sum. The method name I will say get full name. Okay, that's the method name. I will call this method like this, get full name. I will pass first name is, say, India, last name is Asia. Okay, last name is Asia. And if I want to, whatever this method will return something, I want to store it. What it will return me? A string it will return me, guys. Okay, so I have to say string f name, that is full name, is equal to, and you want to print it, you can just SYSOUT f name. Okay, Understood, guys? Any doubt? 1 and 600 I'm passing. 1 and 600 I'm passing. So what I'm basically trying to do, I'm trying to pass 1 and 600 to the sum method, and it will calculate the sum, that is 600, and it will return the sum. Whatever is returned, I will store it in result variable, and the result variable I'm trying to print. So it will give me the result. In the same way, I have one more method which takes two strings argument, first name and the last name, and it will return me one more string, that is full name. Okay, it will concatenate those two strings, and it will return me that concatenated version. Since it is string, I have to store it in string variable. Okay, so whatever I'm getting, I have to store it in string variable, and then I'm printing this string variable, guys. Anyone having any doubt, feel free to ask me, guys. Okay, and if I execute this line, see, 601 and Asia is getting printed. These kinds of methods are called methods with the argument. We are passing the arguments, and also with return type. Here the return type is an integer, that is sum of two numbers. Here the return type is string, that is full name. Any doubt? No? If there is no doubt, here is a question for you guys. Okay, whatever it is returning me India, Asia. Okay, but I want to give a space between India and Asia. What should I do here, guys? Line number 21. I want to give a space. When it is returning, it should not give like this, India, Asia. Okay, instead, it should give a space in between and then return. It should return me something like this. What should I do, guys, in this method? Anyone, any answer? Come on, guys. You can unmute yourself if you want. You can ask me, or you can tell the answer. Hema is saying on line number 21. Correct, Hema, whatever you said is on the line number 21. Okay, so on the line number 21, she's telling you have to give one extra thing. I'll just copy paste it, guys. Okay, she's concatenating this space as well. And if I run this, see, now it is saying India and Asia. But if I don't give this space, then it says India, Asia. Okay, so I am concatenating first name with one space, and then I am in turn concatenating that with last name. Shavani, you understood? Jagdish? Okay, perfect. All right, so you guys are able to hear me clearly, no problem. Okay, so what basically you need to know is how to concatenate string. We have already discussed in the last class, but how to create the methods. Okay, so this method is having the argument and also the return type. This method is having the argument and also the return type. Okay, there can be another method, say a method, say add some methods. Okay, the same sum method you can write like this also, some method without return type. Okay, I will not say any return type. What it will do is it will calculate the sum and it will print that particular sum, guys. Okay, and if at all a method doesn't return anything, you have to say void, guys. Okay, if a method doesn't return anything, then you have to always say void, void, guys. Okay, void. Okay, so what does it mean? A method which says void, it doesn't return anything in the calling method. So this is the called method. These are the called methods, and who is calling? The main method is calling all these methods. Okay, you can call this third method like this: 44 plus 2. Okay, you can call it in any way. And the third method, this method which I highlighted, a method with argument, but there is no return type. The method will not return anything to the calling method. All right, guys. Okay. Any doubt, anyone? If there is no doubt, we are done for today. Okay. There is one more kind of method, that is method which will take some argument. Okay. Method which will not take any argument, but it will return me something. Jay, do you have any such example to give me a method, since you have already gone through some of the classes in Java? Okay, yeah, a method which returns you something. No, okay, I'll just teach that one as well, guys. Okay, but it involves the object, so I'm like little hesitant whether to tell you those things or not. Okay, tell you guys those things or not. Say there is a method, you want to get the date from that method. Okay, today's date. Okay, get today's date. Okay, that's a method, and you will not gonna pass anything. Okay, but it will return me something called as date. Okay, date object. Okay, so you can say date d equals to new of date. Okay, and you will say return d. Okay, now you can call this method get today's date. You can call this method. Okay, just a minute, guys. You can call this method here. Okay, and it will give you a date. D1 is equal to, it will give you a date, and you can print that particular date. D1, guys. So what will gonna happen is this method you are not passing anything, but you are definitely getting some return type, guys. Correct? What is that return type? You are getting the date. See, it is giving you the date. This is a classic example of a method which doesn't take any argument, but it returns you something. Okay, what is this date, what is this new? I don't want you to discuss, I don't want you to be bothered about it at this point of time. To learn what is this new, whatever I have told here, okay, you need to know something called as objects and the constructors, guys. Okay, so don't be worried, but just as an example, there can be many kinds of methods. Okay, method with argument, without argument, and there is a greet method, which say there is a method called greet public static void. Okay, I will have this greet method which doesn't take any argument, and doesn't return also. Say it will just say SYSOUT, hi, how are you. This method neither takes any argument, neither returns anything. So the first method is and the second method is are the examples of methods which takes arguments. Here it takes two integer arguments. Here it takes two string arguments, and here it returns the sum, that is integer. Here it returns the full name, that is string. So these two are the examples of method which with return type and with arguments. Okay, the third method, that is this method, is an example of method which takes arguments but it doesn't return anything. It doesn't return anything. That's the reason we have said void. The third thing is a classic example of method which doesn't take any argument, no argument, and no return type as well. That's the reason we have said void. Okay, it just does this, hi, how are you. And the fourth example is method which doesn't take any argument, no argument is taken, but it returns you something. It returns you today's date. So this is a classic example of method with no argument but with return type. Okay, these are the four examples of the four kinds of methods basically. Okay. Anyone having any doubt, guys? No? And let me tell you guys, at this point of time, you guys should start practicing. Okay, whoever is not done methods till now, okay, you are not studied methods in your college days or something, okay, this is the time for you guys to start practicing these things. Okay, and that's very important. If you start practicing all these things, then nothing will be tough for you guys. Okay, methods are very important, guys. Okay, very important. Okay, and if there is no questions, we are done for today, guys. Okay, we are done for today if there are no questions. Okay, and I will try to go ahead and upload this particular video as well, but please practice, guys. Okay, please practice. And I have not, actually speaking, I have not started the Java yet. Okay, that is what you can say at this point of time. These are the things, methods, or declaring variables, comparing two variables. It's part of all the programming languages. It's not specific to Java. Only when I start object-oriented programming, that's when it is like you're starting the actual Java, guys. Okay, any doubt, anyone? No doubt? Okay, if there is no doubt, that's it for today, guys, and you can leave for the day. All right, and if there is any question, you can ping me at any point of time, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.